So, well, Dimi, you obviously introduce yourself properly in a moment, but yes, we've asked Dimi to come and talk. He's here with his lovely partner, Megan, and will let us know a little bit about kind of the other side of it, because, this, just, it doesn't affect just the person, but, all our loved ones as well. So I thought it'd be nice to hear sort of like Dimi's viewpoint on how life is for him.
Thank you very much, Joe. Hi everyone, my name is Dimitar, or Dimi for short, and today I'm here to speak about from the perspective of a loved one. Megan got diagnosed with melanoma about 3.5 years ago, which became stage 4 liver mets last June. So as her main support in life, I'd like to talk about my experiences today, and in the hopes that some or all of you may potentially relate to me, and hopefully it may help other loved ones have a voice and help them on their journey as well. I initially had a very different plan as to how I was going to do this. I had sort of presentations and things like that, but as I was preparing today, it became sort of quite difficult for me. So I've actually written something out instead. So bear with me whilst I do that. The first thing I wanted to disclose to you all is that these are certainly my views and opinions and feelings, and are by no means assuming or speaking for all other loved ones. I'd like to just give my perspective and respect that others have their own equally important ones as well. When Megan first got diagnosed, right at the start of the pandemic, it was actually February, March 2020, we had to initially go through photodynamic therapy in Sheffield. And then once PDT was not effective in the span of 6 months, Megan underwent stereotactic radiotherapy in Sheffield that year. It was in November, which is almost 3 years ago. The pandemic and its restrictions, isolation physically and mentally on the side, we at that point were not living together, and I did not initially understand the gravity of this cancer at all. It felt very reactionary, very fast-paced. I had zero knowledge, medically or otherwise, on what it means to have this dark passenger invade our lives and nestle itself into what was to become a three-way relationship. I simply had no idea as to what to do about it and how to manage it emotionally or mentally, let alone in the relationship. Overall, the first year of diagnosis kind of festered in me as I did not share or talk about it, downplayed it to all my friends and family, definitely myself, and did not seek out any support groups or any outlet at all, because I was quite afraid. I felt unequipped and lost, and could not even say the word cancer and flush it out from the shadows and face it myself. So it had total control over me. So how can I talk to others about this if I cannot say the word myself and talk to that about myself in the first place, if that makes sense? One point I would like to stress here is the community is so important, and I think critical, especially in the beginning stages of the diagnosis, where everyone processes this differently initially, but my shrinking away, not voicing myself to others, not asking for help, but sort of bearing down and carrying things on my shoulders and being proud, but also ignorant of the mortal magnitude of this cancer, really affected me negatively. And so it was happening too fast, and I had no time to internalize it at all. And I did this for an entire year in 2021. We had our home together now, like we've always planned, and I continued this mentality of work hard, full-time, non-stop, provide, protect, make life as normal as possible, be a partner, smile, and say to everyone else, all is fine, we're doing well. Yes, the operation was successful, no new growth in the eye, She still had a big percentage of her vision back then, et cetera, et cetera. So to be a solid pillar of strength and be calm and collected, support and work even harder. So I thought this surely was the end of it. This was the worst, it was over. And well, it wasn't. In the beginning months of 2022, everything sort of got a lot darker and foggier. And I was holding the fort whilst supporting Megan with all my heart and strength in every way I could think of. But see, this stoic mentality, this stubbornness and practicality, this silence I have put on myself for almost 2 years now really started eating me alive. So I developed some major chest pains, which I ignored for weeks, constant day in and day out. So I went to my GP for the first time ever and sort of completely broke down. It was the first time I have said to somebody professional, hey, I need some help. And even then, it was hard to break from my shell. I was recommended to take some time off work or decrease the stress and stop, be at home with Megan and just take a break. And the chest pain was ultimately a manifestation of stress. So I reached a point where somatically, where my own body is ringing the alarm bells of this way of living. Shortly after, when she got diagnosed with METS in June last year, as I said previously, I felt very angry and betrayed by life. I love her unconditionally and completely. And seeing her suffer in this void of uncertainty and stress and fear and doubt and anxiety, and that increased so dramatically, and me not having any control or power over removing it, really made me feel small and insignificant against it. It was at that critical time when our life was turned upside down once again, and we started to benefit, that I sought professional therapy and help, among other things. The best thing that this did for me is to teach me to shine a bright light on this illness for myself, to help me find a voice for myself. It taught me to lend power and strength back to me as a sort of osmosis of change, where it fundamentally helped transform my values in life, quality of time and the experiences, focusing on presence, on cherishing time, yet breathing through it all slowly. What I also learned from Megan, from my therapy and my close inner circle, is the paradox of allowing myself to grieve and to stop feeling guilty of these emotions when you're not the patient yourself. Sometimes we can suppress our own emotions, and we need to recognize that you as loved ones are also in your own way affected by this journey, and you are important in your own fears, anxieties, and grief being voiced. Because I had to be taught this. This is why I feel it is important to speak out if you feel that you can benefit from it. I was honest and able to discuss my feelings with all my friends and family gradually, and I realized that the way of life I used to champion is no longer working. With this voice and honesty, this dedication to the small things, this growing acceptance, this focus on quality of time and memory and experience is how I try to balance the dichotomy of life partner and care, friend and support, patient and loved one. This is so important as it is really easy to assume the role of support solely, to focus on practicals, medical, research, comfort, work, with conversations becoming more about appointments and tasks and diaries and lists, rather than balancing this with being who we were before cancer. A couple that likes to chat about the universe, share the world and its beauty, big or small, together. Create memories and hold our own peace and space inside the eye of the storm all around us. In this spirit, I built new pillars of support for myself, and in the beginning of this year, when the decision was made to push and fundraise for chemosaturation, I knew immediately that we would need all hands on deck for this. As I was gone most of the time, 10, 11 hours of the day working, etc., and I wasn't present for the good days and times at home. It felt unfair to me and to her, and the gravity of time, this constant uncertainty, and this new massive endeavor in fundraising pushed me to what I felt was right. To focus solely on this, to be present and fighting with strength and hope, and balance my support and care with being a partner. So the other half of our lives counted in quality and quantity of time. Without finding my voice and this path of transformation, I don't believe I could have done it and be here today. Luckily, we were successful in this fundraising endeavor, and the kindness and the altruism of others, their positivity and support cannot be expressed in words, and will fuel me forever, really. I can categorically say that this journey and this cancer has tested every fiber of my mental and spiritual self, but it does not define me. It still terrifies me and pushes me and challenges me every day. I'm so grateful and lucky to have her, amazed by her strength and light, and value my time and life with her beyond measure. And so, I'm able to stand and speak to you today with our combined might, hope, and self-belief. And before I say anything else, thank you very much for allowing me to speak to you today. It's a real privilege. It got me there in the end, you know. It's always, but
Well, I think we're all pretty privileged that you've put so much thought and, you know, been so open with how you felt about everything, and there was so many points in there that I think we could sort of, you know, pick up and talk and connect with. I think everyone needs a Dimmy in their life. You know, I don't think as much, my husband's absolutely incredible, but yeah, just the support that you've given Megan, I know is massively appreciated. And I think if you don't have a Dimmy in your life, you know, that's okay, because it can be a friend and another loved one. You know, just connect with somebody and talk to somebody to sort of see you through dark times. And there's a huge amount of people here today, and available for everybody. So thank you.
No, thank you.
And
thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. And I'm almost glad in a way that your body physically told you
yes.
something needed to change.
Yes.
And that you were good enough to go and talk to your GP about that.
Yeah. It was so fascinating that it reached that point where your own self is creating alarm bells for you to actually look at things and actually put a light on them.
Yeah. And I think, thankfully, over the last sort of 2 or 3 years, we're all hearing actually it's important to put ourselves first, you know, put our own life masks on and things like that, because it makes us all better people. So I think, you know, if there's something that is difficult in life, you know, hopefully everybody in this room knows that you can talk to support through Ocular UK, you know, our psychological support service, which sounds huge. You know, it's still, to me, even when I say psychological support service, it feels that somebody needs to be in a really bad place in order to access that service. And it's not about that. It's much more effective that actually it's just a conversation about this has happened to me, and start that nice and early on before it kind of builds into something harder to kind of deal with. Because we will get to a point where ocular melanoma is in the background. It's part of something that happened once upon a time and not be, you know, such an enormous part of our life. But yeah, just tremendous, you know, gratitude to you both for coming here today and just being your incredible selves, really.
I'm tremendously grateful to you and to Ocumel for, at the point of time when Megan found Ocumel, that was a critical point. So without your existing, who knows what kind of support in all sorts of ways that she might have missed on, and where we would be today without you and Ocumel, truly. So thank you for existing in that sense.
Thank you.